Hey guys, my name is Poetress. If you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And today, I am coming out here to do a book review of Cicley Tyson's Just As I Am. This is what the cover looks like. It has a total of 400 plus pages. It took me a day and a half to finish it. I purchased the book the day before yesterday and I finished it today. So I just wanted to come on here and kind of give my take on it. And first I'm going to get into the cover. Isn't this cover like so beautiful? Look at this cover. I love that her and her team picked this cover. I actually heard about the book from Book and Jordan, which is her Instagram, but her YouTube channel is called Left on Read, and she basically, does book reviews on different books that she's read. And when I seen her talking about this book, I went right to Barnes & Noble and purchased it. Initially, I was going to get the book Queenie, but I said if they don't have the book Queenie, then I'm going to go ahead and get Cicley Tyson's book. The price for this book at Barnes & Noble is $23 and some change. So it's worth it. Like, it's really, really worth it to go ahead and purchase this book. Let's kind of get into what her memoir is about. In the beginning of the book, she goes into talking about, the different jobs that she had leading up to her career as an actress. Now, I'm going to say I thought it was very, very interesting that she never really had like any movies that went to like the big screen. I thought that was really, really interesting because of the simple fact that I feel like, that's something that she could have had. Okay, yeah, you have Tyler Perry, The Diary of a Mad Black Woman. She was in that movie and it made it to the big screen, but that was more so for, black audiences and everything like that. Anything else like after that was kind of, before and after that was kind of small screen roles or made for TV movie. Plus, I just want to get into her family dynamic. Okay, the relationship with her mother. Okay, from a reader's standpoint, looking at their relationship, I felt as though it was toxic in a sense because she always tried to downgrade Cicley Tyson's accomplishments no matter what it was. And towards the end of their relationship, all Cicley Tyson wanted to hear was that her mother was proud of her, which I understand, but I just feel like, as a reader, that couldn't have been enough for me. And I just feel like, had her mother lived, and I feel like their relationship could have used a little bit more work. Now, the relationship with her father was a real, womanizer. Like, he had stepped out on their mother and was having a relationship with this one woman, and they ended up not lasting. And I feel as though, the father, had no sense of remorse when it came to that. But I feel like, she never really got to have a conversation with her father about why the relationship with her mother and her father came to a clash. Like, what exactly was he looking for that her mother couldn't provide? And so because of the dynamics of her mother and her father's relationship, she ended up getting into a relationship with Kenneth, and their storyline was short and sweet because she didn't necessarily want to marry Kenneth. She was kind of like forced into the marriage because of the simple fact that he had gotten her pregnant with her one child. And in the book, she named her child Joan for safety purposes. And her relationship with Joan, like, that needed a lot of work too, because Cicley Tyson was very, very, very much into her work, as a lot of actors are, because it's like, okay, this is my job and this is what I have to do to provide for my family, even if that means, me being away from my child for some time. I have family members who can care for her, while I'm working. And I feel like while reading, that kind of damaged the relationship for her and Joan, but in the midst of it, they were able to reconcile in some way. Because I think as Cicley got older, she started to realize, okay, my relationship with my child is more important than any acting gig that I get, any modeling gig that I get. Because as she got older, her work started to slow down a little bit. So she was able to, have time with her daughter and build a relationship with her daughter. While I was reading, what really got me was the relationship between her and Miles Davis. Now, we all know that a lot of these musicians, a lot of these actors, they tend to get caught up in the drugs and everything like that. But Miles Davis' story from Cicley Tyson's point of view, it was just kind of like, wow. Like, he was, I would say that Miles Davis was physically abusive. He was emotionally abusive. And he was a womanizer, just like Cicley Tyson's father. And for the life of me, even though, again, as a reader, I can understand why they ended up together. But as a reader, he had very, very narcissistic qualities about him that was just like, okay. And he was heavily into drugs, and he depended on Cicley Tyson to literally bring him back to life. So throughout their relationship, even before they got married, he was using drugs. During their marriage, he was using drugs and cheating on her. And even after their marriage, when they had gotten a divorce, during their marriage, he was using drugs or whatever. She left him, and then when she left him, she had gotten notice that, he was back on the drugs, because I guess he couldn't suffice without Cicley in his life. So he ended up using drugs again. And then when Cicley came back into his life, she got him connected to this doctor that she knew of through a friend. And with his expertise, she was able to nurse him back to her. And then, they had gotten married. And then while they were married, he was cheating on her. And then she had asked for a divorce, so she got the divorce. And then she had decided, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm no longer dealing with you. And then he slipped back into using drugs. And then next thing you know, he was gone. Like, he passed over. So he died the year that I was born. I don't know exactly what month he died. I just know that he passed over in 1991. And I was like, wow. I was just like, wow. That whole relationship with Cicley Tyson and Miles Davis was toxic. Toxic. And as a reader, I personally don't understand why she stayed with him as long as she did. Because, like I said, he was heavily into drugs and heavily into, like, cheating on her and buying her stuff just so that she wouldn't leave. And also, one other thing that I want to mention is her philanthropy. Like, she has a school named after her in New Jersey. She's won several awards. She was all about black people. Okay? She was all about black people. And she was like, I remember her mentioning in the book that if a role didn't feel significant enough for her, she wouldn't do it. Like, if she felt like, you know, this role wasn't for her, or if she didn't feel some type of way about it, she would not do the role. But overall, I enjoyed the book. There are a lot of, like, gems in here. You will laugh, you will cry, you will be mad as hell, you will be all of that. This book is an emotional roller coaster. But my main interest after reading this book is the relationship with her daughter Joan, the relationship with Miles Davis. Not so much the relationship with Kenneth, because that was short-lived, because she didn't even want to be married to him. The relationship with her mother and the fact that she didn't get to necessarily have a conversation with her father about why her mother and her father's relationship was like that. And because of that dynamic, that's why I believe it turned into, because of their dynamic, that's why I believe she ended up in a relationship with Miles Davis. Now, Cicley Tyson's father, he was not a drug addict, but he was an alcoholic. And that in itself is enough. Like, yeah. But overall, it was a good book. If you guys want to read it, again, you can go to Barnes & Noble and purchase it for $23 and some change. And I'm telling you right now, you will enjoy this book. So I will see you guys in the next video. Alright? To the show.